Perfect. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and welcome to Frankston Toastmasters Club and its 50th anniversary, meeting number 1156. Yay! I'll be your Sergeant of Arms for the night. So my name is Simon Meyer, immediate past president and BAS Division Director. For anyone that needs to go to the bathroom, they're through those doors there. If anyone would like a drink of water, through those doors. Smoking outside, car park through there. And I would like to read out the acknowledgement of country. Frankston Toastmasters acknowledges the traditional custodians of this land, the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We celebrate the rich history of over 40,000 years of culture and storytelling on these lands and share our appreciation of being able to contribute through this narrative and our meeting. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay, fantastic. So with that in mind, I'd like to hand over now to Loretta, who is the MC for the night, I take it?
No. High performance
chair.
High
performance chair. There you go.
And yes, a very big good evening to everyone, and a big welcome to Mayor Nathan Conroy as well. Oh, sorry, I think I need to wear this today. All right, so yeah, we've got a really great evening planned for you all tonight. We're going to start off and we're going to invite Mayor Conroy up to do a presentation to us. And then straight after that, we're going into an amazing panel, which is going to be led by Simon Walliker, Distinguished Toastmaster. And we've got some incredible guests on that panel, but I'll let Simon talk more through that. There'll be a chance after that panel for questions. So as you're listening, take a note of any questions you would like to ask. Following that, we're going to have a great little music interlude from our resident musician, Joe. And then we're going to have our supper break. So if anyone does want a cold drink or a tea or coffee, it's through these doors. And when we break for our supper, we'll go through those doors there. We'll then come back and we'll have another amazing panel that's going to be led by our current Vice President of Education, Nadine. And you'll see also on your agenda there's some really incredible speakers on that one. Then again, question time. But after that, the really exciting thing is we've got an auction. So there are some amazing gifts down the back there during any of the breaks if you want to go down and have a look. And our auctioneer will be Thomas Moore. So thanks, Tom. Then, after all of that, we have the cutting of our beautiful Toastmasters 50th anniversary cake, some presentations, and a toast to the committee. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome, and please make him feel very welcome, Frankston's Mayor Nathan Conroy.
Goes something like this. Good communication is just as stimulating as a black coffee and just as hard to sleep after. And Toastmasters certainly played a pivotal role.
Excuse me, sorry, we wanted to video you, is that okay?
Oh, yeah. I never say no to a video. Only if it's a good video. Where am I looking? Oh, there. Who am I looking at?
Thomas.
Thomas? Oh. Sorry, I have to be serious. And Toastmasters has certainly played a pivotal role, not only promoting and building confidence while teaching people and the public speaking skills. Public speaking can be nerve-wracking, and thanks to the skills taught by Toastmasters, it is also a great boost in self-confidence. There's also a sense of personal satisfaction Being able to speak in front of a crowd is a huge achievement, as well as improved critical thinking, learning to construct a respectful argument, and importantly, being a better listener. And I think we can all benefit from that sometimes. Frankston Toastmasters' 50th year anniversary is a remarkable milestone. I had to Google this, by the way. In 1973, Gough Whitlam was the Prime Minister. The country's first casino opened in Hobart. AC/DC performed their first major gig, and Queen Elizabeth officially opened the Sydney Opera House. While many things have changed, it is heartening to know that Frankston Toastmasters has remained committed to bringing out the absolute best in people, and in doing so, enriching Frankston City and building a better community that we all can be proud of, where we can all express ourselves and get a message across and be heard. You should probably teach Canberra that, I think. They could do with Toastmasters. But I do also want to acknowledge the service and dedication of Frankston Toastmasters Club founding member Ray Scott, who is present. Where's Ray? Ray, welcome. And Ray's wife Mary, who is also a founding member, who can't be here today, but we do send our warm regards to Mary. Both Ray and Mary both served as district governors and were both honoured with the Distinguished Toastmasters Award. I also acknowledge Toastmasters club member David Hughes. David Hughes. David Hughes, a previous table topic district contest winner in 2017. Well done, David. David has also held many office roles and is current area director for area B3. That's the number 3. Where am I? Which covers Warrigal, Sale, East Gippsland and the Latrobe Valley clubs. But I also want to acknowledge current district director Kevin Broughton. I think I got it right. Yeah. And distinguished Toastmaster Bill Williams. Bill Williams, who served the club for over 30 years, as well as former international director Charlie Sterrett. Was that good? That was good. Who is also a TED speaker and coach. Welcome to you all. So it is now my great honour to represent President Andrea with a framed certificate in recognition of the 50 years of amazing service. Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll move over here.
We're going to do both of us because Ray being the original president and founder.
Can that video see my face with that sun?
We're all
Just come in a little bit.
We're not able to lower that blind. So
Maybe in front of the leg turn.
I won't look good in this light. Can we change this?
If you stand in front of the leg turn, you'll be out of the light. Behind the leg turn, I should say.
No, much better.
so what we're going to
Da, 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 da. Oh, sorry. We actually should be serious. Come on.
we didn't cover this up in the meetings, did we?
A little to the
No.
left.
No, I'm joking.
If we do.
Andrea, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Ray. Well done. Well done.
Thanks, Ray. I probably needed to tell you.
I'll just take whatever long.
And all I have to say is, here's to 50 more. Thank you very much. Thank you, Andrea. Oh, do I have to put it back on you?
No, I'm going to now hand this over to Andrea.
Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you for such a great welcoming speech there, Mayor Nathan Conroy, and pleased to meet you tonight too. Now, it's a little bit of a warm night, and some of our gentlemen here have jackets on, and I'm actually allowed to give you permission to take that jacket off if you feel the need to. That's as far as it goes, okay? Oh, okay. And also, been an extraordinary meeting too. It's away from our normal meeting. I still have to ask for to move that all standing orders are just cast aside for tonight, and I need a mover.
I'll move.
I'll second.
All right, done. I don't know where the gavel is, but all in favour? Aye. Any nays? Motion carried. Okay, now, I am the current president. For those guests that have not met me before, I've been with Toastmasters since May 2017. And that time that Neil and myself walked into that club, it was in a different location, we were warmly welcomed by Simon Walliker and David Hughes. And since then, we've taken on many different roles, and I've done things like area director, club coach, and executive, as well as president. My first evaluator was Alan Murchie, and he's sitting here in the audience tonight too, so thank you for coming tonight, Alan. It's now my pleasure to be at the helm of Frankston Toastmasters Club in its 50th birthday. I'm just going to acknowledge some people. So when I mention your name, just put your hand up, or if you want to just quickly rise. Now, we've already had an introduction to our club founder, Ray Scott. Our current district director, quick reminder, Simon Meyer, over there.
Division.
Oh, division. Apologies. I'm going to blame that on Nadine.
I'll accept that.
Our current area directors, so we have Nadine Samuel, David Hughes, and Rick Stewart, who is also in the audience tonight. We have numerous past area governors, as they used to be called, and directors. So Simon Walliker, Loretta Buckley, Ibrahim Champion, who, happy birthday for yesterday, Champ. Where are you? Oh, over in the corner.
Oh, it's January.
Oh, Facebook says another thing. With both Ray and Mary Scott also having that role, as well as being club founders. Please welcome current District Director Kevin Broughton. Now, thank you for being here tonight too, because from what I understand, Gippsland area has just endured some heavy flooding and rain, so I hope that you made your way here okay. I get the nod, so that's all okay. Again, International Director of Region 12, which is our region, and keynote speaker Charlie Sturratt, and a TEDx speaker and public speaking coach. And he's probably thinking, I could give her some coaching right now. And his lovely wife, Kogeni. Just to acknowledge 33 years with Frankston Toastmasters and a distinguished Toastmaster, Bill Williams. Just like to acknowledge David Hughes, who was a member of Frankston for 18 years. He was also a Table Topics District Contest winner in 2017. Now, in our history, he's the only person in our club that has actually got to that level in a competition. We also have District 73 International Speech runner-up, Stephen Angel, who's just lurking in the back row right now. So he must have done the rockstar entrance there. We also have humorous speech finalist at District, Robin O'Donnell, who will be part of our panel tonight too. We have Kingston Club member and a great competition speaker and invited panel speaker, Judith Talanoa. Acknowledge 50th birthday chief organiser and club coach for Berwick, Loretta Buckley. Past presidents including Joanne Ball, Stephen Angel, Anne Ahern, who I haven't seen. There she is. Okay. Joe Bakhmoutski, who will be providing our musical entertainment tonight. Johnny Seagull, Horrocks. Just look for the man with the hat on. Nadine Samuel and Simon Meyer. Past Toastmasters, current Toastmasters, and invited guests. We're also acknowledging that local Labor member Peter Murphy was invited but sadly passed away on Monday. We have sent condolences as a club to her office. We also have apologies from Michael Lilly, who is overseas at the moment, and Mary Scott, and apparently according to Ray, she was itching to be here tonight, but she's just had recent surgery and she was told not to push it basically. So a little bit of Frankston Club and Toastmasters history in brief. In 1973, Toastmasters officially accepted the first woman, being Helen Blanchard. Now she'd flown under the radar for 3 years at that stage because she put on her application form the letter H, the initial H, and she went by the name Homer. And eventually Toastmasters acknowledged Homer as Helen, and she was went on to become, in 1985, the first female international president. She passed away in 2013, but you can find her autobiography that was written in 2008 on Amazon. Not only was Mary Scott a Frankston Club founder, but she was also the first female District 73 Governor in 1983. So when we come forward, 50 years later, as of July 2023, the average age of someone in Toastmasters is 49 years of age. The gender mix is 55% female, 44% male, and less than 1% non-binary. Frankston Toastmasters Club achieved Club of the Year in District 73 in 2021. At the time, there were 148 clubs. The club quickly embraced Zoom as a meeting format when COVID-19 restrictions were in place. And as a consequence of that, there was no member attrition during that year. In the club's 50-year history, only 8 members have achieved Distinguished Toastmaster, which is not an easy feat because it takes on average 8 years to achieve that level. Simon Meyer, he's on the express train, and it might be 4 years for Simon, we'll see.
Give me another 6 months.
There you go, 4 years. Now you can see who is a Distinguished Toastmaster. Simon Walliker, his badge is a purple colour. That is a Distinguished Toastmasters badge. DTM is an acronym. It's also, informally, stands for Don't Time Me. And in saying that, it's probably time for me to wrap up and pass back over to Loretta.
Thank you, Andrea, and it's really interesting to learn about the history and the great work that females have also done throughout Toastmasters. So it was now with great pleasure I would like to invite Simon Walliker up to the stage. Thank you, and I'll hand over to Simon.
Thank you, Loretta. Well, good evening, esteemed guests, Toastmasters, everyone who willingly joined us tonight. I'm Simon Walliker, your panel host, and I'm confident that in this segment will be a highlight. We're privileged to host three distinguished individuals who've significantly influenced District 73. District 73 covers South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria, and at one time when it was initiated, Western Australia. Our first panellist, a former insurance professional turned novelist, is the creative mind behind compelling mystery and espionage thrillers such as Cut to the Chase. Let's warmly welcome co-founder of Frankston Toastmasters, 1976 to 77, past District Governor, Distinguished Toastmaster, Ray Scott. Next up, a versatile personality who transitioned from accounts to tutoring and coaching, helping families navigate the alphabet soup of dysfunctional behavioural problems. Please welcome 2001 to 2002 past District Governor, Distinguished Toastmaster, Judith Talanoa. Sounds great.
Thank you. Where do you want me?
They're not chocolates. Damn. Lastly, hailing from Wales, our final panellist needs no introduction to those who attended his captivating session, Big, Hairy, Audacious Goals back in 2014. I'm not sure where the hairy came from, but that's okay. Please welcome the current District Director for 2023-2024, Distinguished Toastmaster, Kevin Broughton.
Without his moustache.
The red thing off and point it to every...
Sure. All right. So we're going to have a bit of fun where we're going to pass the parcel with not only the microphone, but this little red thing just here. Hopefully it all works out. So, to each of the panel this evening, how did you first discover Toastmasters and what were you hoping to gain from joining the organisation at the initial stage? I'll start off with yourself, Judith.
Do I have to wear it?
No, you can just...
No.
Just put it on my lap.
Yep, thank you.
Stay put. Don't go anywhere.
We're always learning.
We are. First time for everything. Okay, I joined Toastmasters in 1994 because I was desperate. I was at the bottom of a very deep, dark pit. I had just walked out of a second disastrous marriage and felt that my life was useless. And my mum had been useful in getting the Toastmasters Club up in San Remo. She never joined it, but she helped get it going. And so I saw this ad in the paper and I suggested she might like to go to that and join there. And so I took her and she wasn't interested, but I was. And so I joined, and I actually gave 2 speeches before I even joined, because they were sort of running out of people to give speeches, and I don't write speeches, they just run around in my head, so it's handy. But I joined and stayed because there was just so much to learn and so much to do. And I started off as, in 3 months I was the VPPR because the VPPR was sick with cancer. I was going to continue on with that, and they said, no, we'd like you as the VPE. I knew nothing about it, but I had a member who said, I will be your mentor. And I said, fine. He lived in Drew and I lived in Dandenong. It worked. And then somehow or other I became the president, and the next year I was the area director. And I was an area director for here at one stage as well. Robin O'Donnell was in the club at that time. Bill was in the club as well. I remember working with Bill. And then I was going to finish at division governor, it was back then, and someone mentioned that she was going to go to America with me when I became the district governor, and I said, I'm not going to do that. And she said, of course you are. And so then I gave it as a joke to the then district governor, and she said, well, I don't know what you're up to, we're expecting you to do it. So I thought, okay, if they think I can, I guess I can. So I did. But I just wanted to show you something that possibly many of you, well, some of you, whoops, come back. Thank you very much, Kevin. Because I've got some of the old manuals if anyone wants to see them later, and one of the old newsletters as well. But this used to be the Distinguished Toastmaster Certificate. Wow. It says certificates on it. Isn't it fabulous? It is absolutely phenomenal. So I got that in 2001 because I had a Toastmaster who was determined that I would not go across to America as the district governor and not be a DTM, and so she pushed me. So everyone, you need a friend who's pushing. Thank you.
So, what about yourself, Kevin? How did you come across Toastmasters?
I was working for National Australia Bank, and I had this routine every time that I had to go and speak, which was to go to the bathroom and to sit there for about 15 minutes, just not able to, not able to frame what it is that I wanted to be able to achieve, because the nerves were just so much, it made me physically ill. And over time, I recognised that I needed to do something about it. So I was looking on the National Australia Bank intranet, and it said that there was this presentation skills and speaking club that met at 7 o'clock in the morning as a breakfast club so that you could go there and practice before you went to work. And I turned up one morning, and there was a group of a dozen people, all exceedingly welcoming. And then the story turned a little bit into Judith's. I was, within 3 months, made the VPM, and then the VPE, and then, yeah, the story continues. But I still, for those that are completely not interested, I still spend a lot of time on the toilet before I speak. The big difference that Toastmasters has given me is the fact that I label it very, very differently. I feel it very, very differently, and I get energy from that bit of time focusing. I think anyone that doesn't get nervous before they speak is a narcissist. and if you haven't got those butterflies or pterodactyls or whatever it is flying around in your tummy, then you have no respect for your audience. And that's what we always have to remember why we do it.
Thank you. Well, I too can relate to the butterflies and nervousness going on, because I was incredibly nervous the first time I got to interview both yourself and Mary on a panel. You can notice that. In fact, we've got a YouTube video of it. But how did you get into Toastmasters?
Well, the reason why I started looking, not necessarily for Toastmasters, but for anything where I could do some public speaking, or at least learn how to do it, was, I suppose the first speech I really made was at my wedding. And I can remember after I'd finished it, and after we'd finished the nuptials at the reception, I was talking about my speech, and my new wife said to me, well, you made a right balls of that, didn't you? I suppose that was my first intimation that I realised that I had to do something. Well, I was reading one day Reader's Digest, and I'm not a normal reader of Reader's Digest, but it just happened I was in a dentist waiting room, and frankly there was nothing else to do. And I just happened to see an article about Toastmasters. And I read that, duly digested it, and then I forgot about it. And then I joined an insurance company in Wolverhampton, and during the course of a conversation with the branch manager there, I just mentioned that I wasn't much good at speaking in public, and he said, well, why don't you join an organisation? And it turned out that he was a member of the local Toastmasters club, which was quite a coincidence. I had no idea. Anyway, he took me along to the meeting, and I can remember my first topic. That was, in fact, they were 3-minute topics. This was at the Toastmasters Club in Wolverhampton, 3-minute topic. And I was given the topic Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. I've never forgotten it. And I just had to think up something, which I managed to do, and I kept going for 3 minutes, and that's how I started. So I've been in Toastmasters, or at least I was in Toastmasters then until 1990. That was it.
Excellent. So, Kevin, what was your initial impression of Toastmasters after your first meeting? I know we've sort of touched on this, but what prompted you to return? Because it's one thing to walk through the doors the very first time, but you've got to come back.
And the whole coming back is about the experience you have. So if you go into a room and it's your first meeting, and everybody makes an effort to turn around and have a conversation with you. If you get up to speak and you do that initial table topic, and people come over and they turn around and say, well done, and they take your details and they badger you about coming back. It's a relatively straightforward formula. And that happened. A gentleman called Michael Figer was president of the club, and he was very passionate about the club and about nothing else beyond the club. His Toastmasters life was making the club work. And for 2 years, I didn't know that I'd joined this giant organisation. I just knew that I'd joined this club. And it wasn't until I went to my first conference on the lakes that I realised that this organisation was an awful lot bigger, and met characters like Nola and David and others that were all part of what suddenly became this enormous community. And that's why I keep coming back. I really do.
Excellent. Can you share your first experience beyond your home club setting? Now, that could be a competition, it could be just visiting another Toastmasters club, it could be anything. But what was your first experience going beyond the club? I'll hand over to you, Judith.
Oh, thank you so much. You're standing on it. Thank you. Oh, you know, I have to think back a long, long way. When I was the Vice President of Education, I didn't know, like Kevin, that I had joined a worldwide organisation. I was just in the club, I was loving it, and then we were invited, or the president was invited, to go to another club. We were doing the, swapping people over, so that 2 from this club would go to that club, so that we were learning new things and helping other clubs to be built. And I think one of the things I remembered was that the president at the time was a doctor. Not that that really means a lot, I suppose, but he was well read. And he was asked a table topic, and he got up and he recited an entire portion of Shakespeare in answer to this very weird question that he was asked. And everyone just sat there, because it was like a 2.5-minute recitation, and he just stood up and gave it, and everyone just gave him a standing ovation. It was really quite well done. And from then on, because it was all about meeting people and learning from other people and taking back the things that you learn in this club to see if you can make it work in another club. And so that's what kept me going for the first bit. It was something that I had lost every ounce of confidence in myself for what had happened previously, and Toastmasters helped me go back together in one piece again. And that's why I stay, because I feel I owe Toastmasters so much. Thank you.
And what about yourself, Kevin? First time outside the club.
When you say outside the club, I had quite a reasonable career before I joined Toastmasters.
No, I meant beyond the club as a Toastmaster.
Beyond the club as a Toastmaster. We were struggling to be able to get people to act in the roles of area director, etc., just as we do now. And someone had just dropped out of the area that my club was a part of. And I was approached by David Murphy, who was the district director at the time, and a couple of other people, and they said, how about you take over the role? You won't get any credit for it because it's already started, but it will be a great learning experience, and then you can do it again the year after.
He must have been a good salesperson.
Yeah, I'm not sure who got the right end of that one, but it was an amazing experience. Shortly after doing so, I did the part area director, which was area governor at the time, then area director, and then division director. And the path just keeps on going. If you want to grow, there is nothing more that will push your boundaries in terms of dealing with people, dealing with clubs, and everything else that comes with taking a leadership role inside Toastmasters. Never-ending learning.
All right, so Ray, what led to the split from District 70, and what challenges did you confront during that period?
Well, the reason for the split was fairly obvious in the sense that we were attached to District 70 up in New South Wales, and we had, well, when I first arrived in Victoria, there were only 2 clubs in Victoria. They were both in the city of Melbourne. Sorry?
Hear yourself, it's working.
Yes, right. There were 2 clubs in Victoria, and during the next few years, there was I suppose you could call him a young firebrand who was a member of Melbourne, and he became very involved in district affairs up in Sydney, and he eventually finished up being, then they were administrative lieutenant governors, education, and then district governor. And he was desperate to have a district down here where we could have our own committees, and we didn't have to travel up to New South Wales every time that we had to go to a convention, which was fair enough. It was all to do with money, really, and if you were going to a convention, going up to Sydney every year, it did tend to get a bit wearing. So we had this big campaign for clubs, and we finally got it up to about 15 or 16, and then Peter Sfower, he was the gentleman concerned, he approached Santa Ana, as it was then, the Toastmasters head office, to see if we could form a new district, and they said you couldn't form a district unless you had 50 clubs. And as a special dispensation, after he got involved in a bit of haggling, they got it down to 25. And then we had this big campaign for forming clubs, and we got a bit desperate, and I suppose we got a bit careless at times, in that we started trying to form clubs in areas. Oh, that'll be a good place to start one. Yeah, we'll start one there. But really, we didn't use our heads, and we didn't look at the population figures before we started doing it. And I remember one that was called Blue Mendy, which was Aboriginal, I think, for Blue Hills. But it was up in Ferntree Gully area, way up in the hills, and they started a club there, which frankly I thought was a bit stupid. And in fact it turned out to be, because they just couldn't find the population to get 20 members to form a club. And that's the sort of mistakes we made. But on the other hand, we did make some pretty good policy decisions. And one club that we started that really set, well, it got going, it was formed actually with the first demonstration meeting. That was Glen Waverley. It just took off like a rocket. Couldn't believe it. And I still remember Glen Waverley when the club was formed, and they actually elected a president of this new unit on the first night. And it was a gentleman named Frank Caesar Gordon. And he was duly elected as president. And when it was announced that he was president, some wag from the back row shouted, "Hail Caesar!" And that went down quite well. But that was one success story. That was Glen Waverley. But there were others, like Ballarat. That was, we had a terrible time with that one. We were up and down to Ballarat. Never again. And that was in the days before there was a freeway. But anyway, as to why did we split, that was the reason why. It was money, excess travel time, and the fact that we also wanted to create our own identity. Plus the fact that up in Sydney, District 70, they were fed up with traipsing across to Perth and Adelaide anyway, so that was it. It was a joint decision, and obviously you've done well. And so has Perth. I gather that's their own district now, so there we go.
So we're rapidly running out of time, but succinctly, because we're talking about Toastmasters throughout the years, we have the Legacy program, which is since finished, and we now have the new Pathways program, which Simon and myself are rapidly running towards my second and his first Distinguished Toastmaster. So, Judith, we'll start off with yourself. Could you give a brief overview for the newer people in the audience what the Legacy program was all about?
I can. But I have a statement to make before I tell you about the Legacy program. I'll keep it quite quick. When I was the District Governor, we were the largest district geographically in the world. And that was because Western Australia, which as you know, pretty big. But we were, and when we went across to conference, we were rather naughty. We had a jacket made that said, "What is 6 times bigger than Texas?" And on the back of it was District 73.
I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, the Texans didn't like us at all. But it was a lot of fun, and I'll never forget all those trips across and everything else. Now, the Legacy program, why don't I just pick up something from in here? I went through, hang on to that for me if you would, Kevin, thanks. The Legacy program. I'm sure many people will remember these. This was actually one of the advanced booklets, was the discussion leader, and there was another one, what was the other one? Humorously Speaking. So we had 15 books. And really, when we first started Pathways, I hated Pathways because the books were so easy. And you had a little spot in the back of the book where you had to write down all your, this one doesn't help because I only did 2 of them, because this particular program was 20 to 40 minutes long per project. But you had to write it in the back of the book, you had to date it, and then you had to get a VPE or a president to sign it off before the VPE or the president would then send it to America. It was really hard to cheat back then. Really hard. So we used to have for the regular, I just found these again today because I'm in the middle of moving and looking at some things, they're going to have to go. So these books, the Communication and Leadership Program, or CTM, or the whatever it got changed to, had 10 projects in them, and that made you a CTM or a competent communicator. So you did 10, and then after that, when you accomplished that, you then went and got to the 5 project books, like the discussion leader. And so 2 of those gave you an ATM, Advanced Toastmaster Bronze. And after you'd done those 2, you then picked up another 2, although the first 2 were free. Then you picked up another 2 to become the Advanced Toastmaster Silver. And then you picked up another 2 to become the Advanced Toastmaster Bronze. Gold. I've got long COVID, every now and then the words go disappearing. So the idea was that at the same time you were doing the leadership program. Originally, you just had to do either leadership or the legacy program and you could become a DTM. Then they realised that we weren't nicely rounded out as Toastmasters if we did one or the other. So then you had to do all of them. And so then you were doing leadership stuff at the same time, and it would take, and when I first joined, you had to do it all in 4 years, all the leadership, all the 60 or 80 speeches that you had to do, all in 4 years. And I thought, I'm never going to make it. And then they changed it. And I made it. So, there you go. Thank you.
And Kevin, if you could just briefly, for the older members in the audience, go through what the Pathways program is all about.
Imagine taking all the information in those books and quintupling all of the projects and everything else which is available, adding online material, videos, assessments and surveys that are able to be done interactively, and the ability to have further reading. That's what the online platform has presented. It may not have presented it in the easiest way to use, but that's all changing next year with all the learnings that have come over the last few years. But Pathways itself contains absolutely everything that was in the legacy program and a whole lot more. Even though the new program is starting only with 6 parts, and I've done 7 so far. Even though it's only starting with 6 parts, the idea is that it's going to be more usable, so you'll be able to use it on your iPad, you'll be able to use it on your phone, there'll be more interactivity for you to be able to take advantage of it, and it'll be a lot more accessible, which has been the big problem for the last couple of years. It wasn't as accessible as the old system.
Thank you. So, Tom, I understand we've gone over a little bit. Can we have 10 minutes for questions?
Can we do 5? Is that all right?
Absolutely. Let's open up to the audience. Questions from the audience. Does anybody have a question? Paul,
My question is to Judith. What is your advice to new members like me? To get value out of Toastmasters?
Value for Toastmasters. What advice do you have for somebody new like Puna?
I feel like I need more hands. I think for me, and I can only go by me, but for me it's been learning, all the learning, and I love to learn, and so it's been the learning, but it's also been how it's really given me self-confidence. And when I've watched other new people come in, it's the self-confidence that most people need to build on so that they can then start expanding on the other things that Toastmasters has to offer. Toastmasters used to have, I keep on saying that, don't I, the theme that said better listening, thinking and speaking skills. And of course it still is that, it's just now it's where leaders are made. But we still have to have the better listening, thinking and speaking skills, and I think that that's the thing that most people need to understand to get the most out of Toastmasters, is to just really get stuck into it and learn as much as you can. The thing I'm finding with Pathways at the moment is people are wanting to sneak past the learning processes, and that's where they're finding they're not really getting the most out of it, is that you do have to put some effort in to get the results back out. And the results, I'm still in Toastmasters after 29 years because I have learned so much and I feel that I can share so much and help so much. And to me, join the committee, start working with the club. The committee is the best place to learn how it all works and to advance and do other things. And it's the other things that make the world of difference. I loved it. Area governor for me the first time I did it, I would have done it again and again. Well, I actually did, but not straight away. So area governor I like, so if there's anyone interested, area governor is a great way to start.
Can we have another question?
If we've not got another question, can I give it?
Please.
So there's a much simpler answer to it. never say no, and recognise that the Toastmasters platform works because it's experiential learning. It's not because you receive lectures, it's not because you pay attention to the educationals and you read every single letter of the words. It's about giving it a go. And Toastmasters, there is no failure. I have never come across an organisation that promotes people trying and you don't need the skills up front and the proof that you're able to do it. Because everybody supports everybody in terms of what you achieve. Never say no. Always have your next speech date delivery set and just enjoy it.
And turn up
I go along with that. Speak as often as possible.
Yep.
Speak as often as possible.
Yep.
Tom, I believe you have a question.
It will be just a quick one. So I'm a big fan of the international speech competition. I'm interested to know what is your favourite international speech, because you would have seen a few over the years, that you've seen at the very top level.
Ray, I'll start off with yourself.
What was the question? What is my favourite?
International speech.
What have I heard, you mean?
Yes.
Well, I heard quite a few, but I think the one that's always stuck in my mind, which didn't get anywhere, I think out of 10 in the competition, in the finals, he didn't even finish in the first 3. But it was a chap from New York who declared that as a child he was always the fastest kid on the block. And he always kept out of trouble because he was the best runner. And I couldn't really remember much about the speech now, but that was a general theme of it, and I've never forgotten it. That was it, the fastest kid on the block.
The best speech, of course, is waiting for you to present it. That's the answer. The best speech hasn't been done yet.
I think the one that I remember best or was most impressed with for the international, and I was over there 3 times to actually see the international, but this one I wasn't there for it, and that was Dhananjay Heziraki, who actually did come out here to Victoria. David Hughes brought him out, and I found him really excellent. I loved the way he did it, and I loved his message. I see something in you, but I don't know what it is. He was for me, he was one of the best.
I was going to go Dhananjaya as well, simply because it was so impactful. But my answer to the question is that every year the speeches evolve to another level. The amount of training and rehearsal that goes into it, and the product that comes out of that is astounding. The sharing of the personal stories and that recognition of the ability to have won with one speech and then deliver and win with another speech, it's awe-inspiring. Going along to the international conference will change you. It will absolutely change you. And you've got the biggest opportunity coming up now with the 100th anniversary at Anaheim, going to the home of Toastmasters, to experience it full on. Whether you manage to get there with your international speech or not, it's an experience that is unparalleled. It really is.
So unfortunately, we're out of time this evening. So, Kevin, I believe our next gathering is slated for December 16th when we see you. Is that correct? 16th. Quiz night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
That's okay. District 73 quiz night, December 16. So let's give a warm round of applause to Kevin Broughton. And Judith, we've heard that you're about to celebrate your 30th anniversary of being a Toastmaster.
In March.
In March next year.
March
So,
the 6th. No, well, March the 1st, of course, because they...
absolutely. March the 1st next year. So that's going to be one hell of a celebration. Please join me in applauding Judith Talanoa, distinguished Toastmaster. And though time eludes us, for those eager to delve deeper into Ray and Mary Scott's tales, including the Down Under Convention, escapades, George Scott and a piece of paper, and Narracoot and a cow. And many more. There's a video awaiting you on the Frankston Toastmasters YouTube channel. Let's express our great appreciation with a resounding applause to Ray Scott, Distinguished Toastmaster. I'd now like to hand over to the host of the evening, Andrea Winzor.
Thank you so much, Simon, and the panel for enlightening some of us. I've been owning Toastmasters for 6.5 years, but I was saying before to the guests that I'm going to learn so much from the panel, and I have. So I hope that you've enjoyed the panel as much as I have as well. Now we have a musical interlude that's on the agenda here. Is that ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how this is going to run though. So now Joe is actually going to start playing the guitar. That gives us a chance for everybody to get up and stretch your legs.
A few minutes, get up, stretch your legs while Joe's playing. And
Yep.
when we open the doors, the alcohol will be served through there. Drinks will be through this door. But we'll just, while Joe's playing, get everything out and ready to go.
Thank you, Loretta.
Thank you.
Whilst he's getting ready, maybe a couple more facts.
A couple more facts.
Oh, actually, Simon's got an idea, division director, where all the past presidents of Frankston Toastmasters get up and have a photo opportunity.
That's a really good idea. Now, while we have past presidents, so up you get, so Johnny, Anne, Stephen. When it comes to facts, Joe, that's right. They'll have to mingle around Joe. Yeah. Now, when it comes to fun facts, me and Nathan Conroy talked about AC/DC's first concert. It was actually on the 31st of December 1973 at Checkers nightclub in Sydney. Right. I did my Googling as well.
Well, Anne and yourself.
Go on his shoulders, that'll be good.
All right. Well, along here, so we can have that in the background. And maybe yourselves. All the guys towards the back. Stand up there. No problem. Or maybe just in between.
I've got that. I'm not a current president. I mean, I'm a current president.
No, come on in.
Yeah,
Not just far.
You look like a chook. Just take a couple of chairs, Robin. You look like a chook ready to deliver. I'm going to... Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Why don't you deliberately let him go?
I'll be up the back.
Come on.
Are you ready? All right, right here.
So good. I'm up.
Second one as well. The second one over here. And 3, 2, 1.
Is that looking all right?
Yeah, that's
How much, like whereabouts we talking? Cool, because he's a bit taller than me, so yeah. Yeah. No, he's much taller and better looking. All right. Can I chuck this on?
Yes.
You?
Cool. There you go.
You're good?
Yeah.
All this.
Thank you. Is that? I always wanted things to be different. Till I met you. I always wanted things to be different. Met you. It's never the world, it's always you. It's never the world, it's always you. Never discover what you've been missing all these years, and yet it's always been right here. I always wanted things to be different. Till I met you. I always wanted things to be different. Met you. It's never the world, it's always you. It's never the world, it's always you. Never discover what you've been missing all these years. And yes, it's always been right here. Let's go. Let's go. When it all begins, you start to wonder about the nature of things. It's same but different. Oh yes, photo with Loretta.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. How you doing? How are you doing, Ethan?
I'm doing just fine. Thank you, Joe. One step at a time, we'll get there.
Have you heard me sing before? Oh, okay. commitments that are easy to forget. We get, we make commitments that are easy to forget. Point of no return. Missed your chance, used it up. Missed it and now it's gone. Commitments that are easy to forget.
Particularly in the schools like so if you got the
Power to come out and say promised one another. I want you, I want what we built, I want the future we promised one another. I want you, I want what we built, I want the future that was promised.